Hi everyone. Let's do some, it's actually evening. You may or may not be watching this when it's evening, but I'm going to call this mellow evening yoga. You can tell that I need to do some yoga because if you start to feel your brain not being as fresh, do some yoga. Or if you start to feel restless, do some yoga. Or if you're feeling stressed out, do some yoga. Um, and by the way, I will be making a restorative yoga video. I might do a little bit of restorative tonight since it's the evening. I'm going to first not do anything major, but do more of gentle yoga, just kind of mellow yoga. But if you want, you could do a couple of restorative poses toward the end. You could grab a couple blocks. If you don't have those, you could grab a pillow or some cushions, a blanket, or you could skip all the above. Usually in restorative yoga, you use props, but don't worry too much about it. And I'll do an official video that way. But let's just call this mellow evening yoga. How does that sound? And I'm also going to do a bar class very soon here. Okay, so I have a yoga mat. It's the one you've seen before. Feel free to grab a yoga mat. You could use your carpet if you have stable carpeting. I've used that before. My downstairs carpeting, which you might see some videos down there. I have like this carpet that you can move around, and it's actually pretty good for yoga. I've been in motels and hotels before where it kind of works and kind of doesn't, so it depends on what your carpet is. Otherwise, hopefully you have a mat of some kind. You could grab, I have one block, you could grab a couple, like I said. If you want to kind of support knees, say toward the end, for a restorative pose on the ground, what's called butterfly or Supta Baddha Konasana. So you could use those, or like I said, some blankets or pillows. I've got one block over there. You may or may not be able to see that. Also for support, the block is good for that. You could also grab a water bottle if you have one close by. Don't stress about it. Let's just move a little bit and breathe. And you might see my cat show up. He's in the other room sleeping, so heads up. Okay. So let's just get centered and grounded. Place your feet underneath your hips. Arms are open at either side. You want to send your tailbone down to the ground here. And just find your breath. So you can leave your hands open at either side, or maybe you bring them to heart center. You can even close your eyes. Feel free to even add some shoulder shrugs in. Someone is supposed to visit me tonight, so I'm checking to see if they're showing up. I don't think it's happening, but I'm just checking. So you want to breathe. So you could even add, imagine breathing with your arms here in your whole body. Now you could add some forward folds in here if you want to. So you could do an inhale, and then on an exhale, I'm going to turn this way. You could roll down through your spine and then roll back up. So just go at your own pace. Or feel free to skip that part to see what feels good. Just imagine waking up your body, maybe with some gentle movement, checking in with your breath. Again, feel free to add that kind of body roll or a forward fold in if you like, or not. Just take your time. You could even add a halfway lift in here. This would be a good opportunity to use your block or water bottle. Make sure you keep breathing here. So you're starting to create a loop of energy with your breath and awareness. If you're rolling up through your spine there, imagine you're stacking your spine. You could reach high to the sky. Nice deep inhale, exhale, arms flip down. Again, imagine you're breathing with your whole body here. Inhale, reach up, maybe you roll down, forward fold. Feel free to hold down at the bottom at your forward fold. You could stay down there a little bit. You could even do ragdoll, where you hold on to opposite arms, or sway side to side. Sometimes I'll just keep my hands on the ground and tent through my hands. You could also be up higher here on a block and do this, or just stay in the center. I'm going to let your head float down there. I'll meet you back in the center here. Just let your hands float back down to your mat. Let's do a halfway lift. So take an inhale, and on an exhale, rise up. You can place your hands on your block here, or maybe they're on your shins or upper thighs, and you want weight on the front of your feet here. So since I'm keeping this more mellow, I'm putting my hands on my block. Inhale, exhale. Again, feel free to skip all this part. You just want to stay standing upright. Roll up through your spine if you're rising up from your forward fold there. And let's all meet back here with feet underneath hips, or you could walk them a little bit closer together. Maybe shrug out some stress here. So you could roll your shoulders from front to back, or back to front, or just straight up and down. Breathe here from your belly. You just really want to start to feel more present in your body here. Breath work can do that, breathing can do that. It can help you feel more present. What's going to help you feel grounded? Inhale and exhale, maybe forward fold here. Roll down through your spine. So again, you can kind of tent through your hands here and maybe gently rock side to side. You're just kind of breathing into the edges here. You could also do that ragdoll again. You want to hold on above your elbows here. Hold on to opposite arms. You could also do that, or just stay in the center. Take your time there. I'll meet you back in the center. Now, ground through your hands here and place just place one hand on your blocker mat and turn and send your other arm up to the sky. Breathe here. You may see all the blood rushing to my head here, or you might feel it in your own head. And then reach back down towards your mat or block. Ground with your other hand here. Take an inhale. On an exhale, turn the other direction, reach up to the sky. Reach back down to the ground. And let's toe heel our feet so they come together here. Maybe wrap arms behind your hamstrings, or you can just reach down to the ground and stretch. And then place your hands back on your mat here. Now your feet are closer together, and let's roll up slowly. One vertebra at a time. Let your head float up last there, and then maybe shoulder shrugs. So you can keep your feet closer together, or maybe you kind of toe heel them so they're back underneath your hips. See what feels good. Imagine just waking up your body and gently stretching. So since it's toward the end of the day, for me, as I shoot this video, I'm imagining kind of moving out excess stress and just sort of processing my day through movement. And reach up to the sky. Inhale and exhale, roll down through your spine, forward fold. So again, feel free to just hold down here, or maybe wrap arms behind hamstrings. Be noticing that each time you're going a little bit further and just sort of melting into these poses. Just find your pace here. And then let your hands float down to the mat. Imagine you're just rolling down to the earth, and then let's do a halfway lift. So Again, placing your hands on your block, or maybe your shins or upper thighs here, and imagine weights on the front of your feet. Inhale, and exhale. Now feel free to hold here in your halfway lift. Sometimes if you find a pose that's therapeutic, it could be any pose, feel free to hang out in it. You know, that's a really nice kind of stretch for your hamstrings, and it kind of helps to reset your spine. And then just let your hands float back down to your mat, and again, restack your spine as you roll back up. And let's bring feet underneath hips here, so we'll do some cat and cow standing up. So we're just going to wake up our spine a little bit more. Inhale, lift through your heart. Exhale, bend your knees. And you're going to draw your belly toward your spine. Imagine you're holding a ball. I'm going to turn this way to the side so you can see me. So we're really working our spine here. Inhale, rise up, lift through your heart. Exhale, bend your knees. Belly to spine, hug a ball. Now feel free to keep going there, doing cat and cow. Inhale, look up, and exhale, bend knees, round through your back, hug that ball. Inhale, rise up, and exhale, round through your back, hug a ball. Imagine that you're building energy here. This energy is kind of moving through your body, both building and dissipating in terms of stress, and building chi. Let your arms float down and just roll back up. Let's just imagine that we're waving arms like clouds. Again, just to kind of build some energy. And also move some energy out. So feet are underneath your hips here. Keep your knees soft. Now, let's do something from Qigong. That was a little bit of Tai Chi, just to keep it mellow here. You want to stand kind of on the diagonal. And I'll face to the back too, so you can see this that way as well. Feet are on the diagonal. Just imagine your palms are facing to the front. You're going to shift from your back leg to your front leg. And imagine that you're kind of pushing something, and then release your palms and rock back. So your knees are soft, your feet are in train tracks. Push through something, imagine it's like a wave traveling, and then release that wave and rock back. Imagine that your arms are waves on the ocean. Find that rocking motion here. Now feel free to keep going there. I'm going to switch so you can see me from the back. So your feet are in train tracks. Your knees are soft. Palms are facing to the front. Feel free to switch to the other side too. Make sure you're even there. And again, just imagine your waves on the ocean. Rock to the front. Release that energy as you rock back. Rock to the front. Release that energy as you rock back. Again, I'm on the other side now, facing to the front. So almost imagine, see if you can notice that you're moving energy here. moving like waves on the ocean. Good job there. I'll meet you back in the center. Let's do tree. So you want to walk your feet together and just let your arms float up into either side, Tadasana. This is where we started. And just let your shoulders relax here. First, maybe find your balance. You can even let hands float up to heart center. Your eyes can be open or closed here. Just going to find your center of gravity. Maybe notice how you're using your gaze to keep your balance as well. So if your eyes are closed, you're finding your third eye here. It's kind of in the middle of your forehead. You really want to ground through your feet here too. Really feel rooted into the earth with your feet. Sending your tailbone down to the ground here. We're here from Tadasana. We're going to do tree. So just shift your weight to one leg and open your other leg to the side and land on the ball of your foot. So you want to use your gaze here for balance. So I'm actually looking at myself in my phone as the video image of myself. I'm using that as my focus. You could find any single point of focus, or you could close your eyes as well and find your third eye at the center of your forehead here. Just find a single point of focus. This is called your drishti. Now feel free to stay just like this, or you could grow your tree. So listen to your body. Again, this is the evening for me, so I'm going to keep it more mellow. I'm just using my foot as a kickstand. But you could also place your foot above or below your knee. You could also make some branches. You can make big branches or small branches. Feel free to be creative here. So if you want to challenge your balance, make sure you're keeping your center strong here. And then you can switch up your arms or switch up your gaze in tree. And you can hold there in tree or start to move out of it. Take your time. Letting your leaves and branches float down. Maybe kick out your leg here. And feel free to reset your spine or anything at all that might feel good to you. We just want to find our flow here. That flow state. That state where it feels effortless as you're practicing. Tap into that through your breath and awareness. And see how long you can stay in that state without any judgment. And that would also be practicing being mindful, which can be so great for relieving stress and anxiety and helping you practice be present, even grateful. So I'll meet you back in Tadasana. So you can bring your feet closer together or just get comfortable where you feel grounded through your feet and arms are open at either side. Tadasana. I'll meet you back here. You want to shift your weight to your other leg, open your other leg to the side and use it as a kickstand. And find your drishti here, a single point of focus. Feel free to hold here, or maybe you grow your tree in any capacity. Make sure you don't put your foot on your knee, or just use it as a kickstand on the ground. Maybe you make some branches. Just breathe. You can hold steady in tree, or maybe you switch up your tree. This is a little unconventional, placing arms like this, but it's good practice for your balance. So to keep your balance, really press through your foot that's on the ground, draw your belly toward your spine, and use your gaze for balance. Great job here. And then whenever you're ready, you can start to unwind your leaves or trees here. Just imagine that they're floating down. Again, finding that flow, that sense of flow in your practice. You could kick out your leg here. Again, feel free to reset your spine, or you could skip it. Sometimes it feels good to reset the spine. Just take your time. And I'll meet you back in Tadasana, kind of resetting in any capacity that feels good to you. Find your center here. And let's just check in. So maybe bring hands to heart center. Samasthi He. Find your focus here. You can even close your eyes and just check in. How do you feel? Scan your body. Maybe you have more energy, maybe less, or maybe you're feeling more calm or peaceful. Just check in. No judgment. You can also use your breath as a barometer to see how you're feeling. That's by not trying to control your breath, just breathe and observe. Let that be a barometer of how you're feeling emotionally. Breathe and observe. Good job there. Let's do a little bit more. And then we'll head down to the ground. So let's try chair. I'm going to turn this way so you can see me. And again, feel free to skip this part if it feels too stimulating. I'll meet you back in Tadasana. Bring your feet together. Gently send tailbone down to the ground. Let your shoulders relax here. Palms are open at either side. Really grounding through your feet. And let your arms reach high to the sky. Mountain. So you could stay just like this. This is a great way to build energy and stretch. Kind of stretch through your spine. Imagine you're turning your pinky fingers in just a little bit. Feel free to stay just like this in mountain and breathe. Breathe and stretch. Or you can take a nice deep inhale, and on an exhale, just imagine that you're sitting into your heels just a little bit. So you can keep your arms here, kind of framing your ears and face, or maybe you bring hands to heart center. This chair, and you can hold here if you want to build strength. Since it's the evening, I'm not going to stay here very long. I'm going to roll back down into a forward fold. You can follow me on your own time here. Breathe and stretch. In your forward fold. Breathe into the nooks and crannies. And then rise back into a halfway lift. Feel free to use your block here. I'm feeling a really nice stretch here in my hamstrings. My hamstrings get tight when I'm stressed, so this is a really nice stretch for hamstrings, and it's resetting your spine, and then forward fold. Now, feel free to do that sequence again, or you can follow me down to the ground. You can bend your knees here and place your hands on your mat and drop down onto your knees. And we're going to head to child's pose. So just take a nice deep inhale here. Now on an exhale, you could just drop down into your forearms and just let your head float down, or you could bring the edges of your feet together. Feel free to even grab your block here. Take a nice deep inhale, and on an exhale, walk your hands out. Maybe place your head on your block, or maybe you're just placing your head on your mat. I'm going to keep my knees more underneath my hips, resting on my forearms, letting my head float down. Now this can be a restorative pose. Feel free to hold here in child's pose. And again, especially if you were to use a block as a prop, notice how I'm resting my head on my block here. Nice, gentle, restorative pose. Feel free to hold there in child's pose. If you're ready to come out of this, walk your hands up. I'll meet you in tabletop. Wrists underneath shoulders here. Knees are underneath your hips. You want to create a neutral spine here. Just lift your gaze just a little bit. Let's do cat and cow here. Inhale, lift through your heart. And then exhale, round through your back. Notice how you're waking up your spine here more, or just stretching your spine. Inhale, look up, and exhale, round through your back. And keep going there. My hair tie's falling out, so I have to readjust it here. But keep going there in cat and cow. And remember, you can always go back to child's pose if you just want to rest. We're going at a slow pace here. Maybe you're still doing cat and cow with me, and just stretch through your spine. You could also settle back into the center and look over your shoulders, swing your hips toward where your head is looking, and then look back to the center, swing head and hips the other direction. Feel that nice stretch in your side bodies. Maybe traveling through cat and cow in any capacity. And then let's head back to child's pose whenever you're ready. So again, take a nice deep inhale. Nice deep inhale, and an exhale. You could bring the edges of your feet together so your legs are more in a V shape. You can walk your hands out, place your head on the mat. Feel free to use a block here. Or just keep your knees underneath your hips. Heading down to the ground, and breathe here. Breathing from your belly. Let your stomach muscles relax here. Let that breath flow all the way in, and then empty all the way out. And again, you could stay there in child's pose. It's super nice to stay in. I'll meet you back here in tabletop. And let's just do a little bit more. So feel free to skip this part if you want to. Or if you want to build some core strength with me, you're going to shift your weight to one leg here and extend your other leg back and just flex your foot. Flexing your foot keeps your hips aligned. Now I'm going to keep this mellow. This is a little bit of Pilates influence. You could also reach your opposite arm out as a leg and just reach and hold. Feel free to stay there or head back to tabletop. Let's try the other side. Switch to your other leg, standing on your knee, extend opposite leg out, flex your foot. You could just do just your leg, or maybe reach opposite arm out and breathe. Now again, feel free to hold here if you want to build some strength, or you can just pass through. Nice deep inhale, and your exhale, child's pose. Find your version of child's pose. Take your time. Spend a few rounds of breath here. Inhale and exhale. Breathe into your spine here. Inhale and exhale. Again, feel free to hold there, or you can walk your hands up, passing through tabletop, lengthen through your spine, nice neutral spine. Really pressing through the palms of your hands here. Just step one knee in front. You can sit on your hip and swing your legs around. Let's come to easy pose. So just get comfortable on your mat. You could sit like I am, cross-legged, or just get comfortable. If you have a blanket, you could also sit up higher on your blanket. You could also sit up on your block. Really ground through your seat here. Let your shoulders relax. Placing your hands where they're comfortable. So, for instance, you could bring your index finger and thumb together. That helps you create focus, kind of a nice gentle focus. You could also bring hands to heart center. Or maybe place one hand on top of the other and bring the tips of your thumbs together. Reconnect with your breath here. Another nice one is placing one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Find your breath here. Let that breath flow freely. Use it to re-energize your body. Use it to move out stress. Use it to rebalance your body. Let your arms float down to either side. If you want to follow along here, let's breathe. The arms float up. Inhale and exhale, arms float down. Inhale, arms float up. Now maybe turn to one side and arms float open back to front. And then unwind back to the center. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, turn to the opposite side. Arms float open. And then float down. Let's try a gentle twist here. So you can hold back onto your knees. I'm in easy pose, which is a cross-legged pose. Take an inhale here. And on an exhale, just turn to one side. I'm holding onto my knee here. And I'm looking back across my shoulder. Let your shoulders relax. Maybe scan your body here and just observe as you're breathing where you might be holding on to stress, and just let it go. You can hold there, start to unwind, pass to the center, inhale. Nice deep inhale, and on an exhale, turn the other direction. Look over your shoulder. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, ease into this twist. Feel free to hold there. You can unwind, pass back through the center. Let's stretch a little bit more. So I'm going to sit the long way on my mat, extend legs out. First, let's do staff. So you can flex your feet here and just rest your hands open at either side. Sit up nice and tall. I've got my knees soft here. Take a few rounds of breath. Now feel free to hold like this, or you can take a nice deep inhale. You can even reach your arms up high to the sky, and then exhale, shift forward. So you want to imagine lengthening through your back here. I'm holding onto my toes. You can see what works for you. A nice way to add a little bit of a restorative pose into this is to grab a block if you have one, put it underneath your knees. Gives you a little extra support. And you can just gently stretch, or maybe reach toward your toes. You can also sometimes I wrap my arms underneath my hamstrings. Just imagine lengthening through your back here. Now to come out of this, you can remove your block if you're using one. feel free to just roll up or maybe reach your fingertips out in front of you. And keep reaching. Take your time here. As you rise up. And exhale, arms float down. That's a really nice hamstring stretch and it's a nice spinal stretch and kind of challenges your core a little bit. Let's try it one more time. Again, feel free to just hold. Maybe you do staff where you just sit upright. Flex your feet, shoulders are relaxed. You can even feel like a shoulder stretch or even bend at your elbows a little bit. Tent through your hands, walk your hands behind a little bit. Getting a shoulder stretch here. Now feel free to hold there, or inhale and exhale, shift forward. Again, finding your version of a forward fold. So sometimes here I'll even look side to side. And just stay in the center. Now, to come out of this again, feel free to reach out through your arms and fingertips and rise up that way, or maybe you just draw belly to spine and roll up one vertebra at a time that way. Let's stretch a little bit more this way. So just bend one knee. It almost looks like you're in tree if you were standing up. So you've got one leg long, one knee is bent. This time my foot is above my knee. This is the only way I can do tree, where my foot's above my knee. This isn't tree, by the way, but it kind of looks like it. Now you can stay here and just stretch. If you want to follow me, take a nice deep inhale on and exhale. Just turn and look over one shoulder. So we're creating a twist here, and you can unwind. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, just turn and twist the opposite direction. Look over your shoulder. So feel free to hold long or just a little bit. Now, heading back to the center here, you can stay just like this. You're going to feel a little bit of a stretch in your hips here, especially where your knees bent. You can also do a forward fold from here. Inhale here, exhale, shift forward. Maybe you reach toward your toes. Imagine lengthening through your spine. You may feel a more intense stretch in your hip where your knee is bent. And breathe. And again, you can stay there or draw belly to spine, rolling up one vertebra at a time. And now we have to do the other side, which is good. So you can extend your other leg out so it can be right in front of you, in the middle of your mat, or maybe it's more off to the side, see what feels good in your body. Sometimes I will put a block underneath my knee that's bent. You want to bend your other leg. So again, you could just stay here in the center, or if you want to follow me here and do some twists first, take a nice deep inhale, and on an exhale, just look over your shoulder. Unwind, inhale, and exhale, look over your other shoulder. You're going to feel kind of a nice gentle rinsing effect here. Keeping your body healthy here, unwind. So feel free to stay just like this, stretching, sitting upright. Or you can take an inhale and on an exhale, shift forward. Imagine lengthening through your spine. Maybe feel that stretch in your hip where your knee is bent. And breathe here. On your exhales, imagine you're melting and letting go more into this pose. way. This is a really nice pose for releasing tension in your hips. And you can do it, it's nice because you can do it one hip at a time. So let's do butterfly or Baddha Konasana. Just bring the soles of your feet together. You can hold on to your feet or maybe hold on to your ankles. So feel free to stay just like this, focusing on your breath. If you feel up to it, you can do cat and cow here with me, holding on to ankles. Inhale, look up. And then exhale, hold on to your feet, belly to spine, round through your back. So take your time here. Hold on to ankles, lift through your heart. Exhale, round through your back. So you might notice here, especially if you're doing this at the end of the day like I am, that we start to kind of build up stress as we travel throughout our day. So, and a lot of it's stored in hips and the psoas, and it's just really nice to stretch. Now you can also stretch side to side. Just go at your own pace here. Anything at all that feels good to you. You can keep one knee bent, extend the other leg out. So if this were daytime yoga, I would add more onto this and maybe even stretch toward that leg that's long. Feel free to do that if this is daytime for you. This is already plenty for me as it is. So I can really feel that stretch in my inner thigh here. So breathe. If you ever find tight muscles or fascia or tight spaces, just breathe. Make sure you're breathing. It makes it easier. You can head the other direction, bend that knee, maybe extend the other leg out. Yeah, and feel free to stretch toward that long leg if you want to. Or you can just stay in the center and kind of make sure your weight's more kind of in the center. And then I'll meet you back in easy pose or a comfortable pose that feels good for you. Let's just stretch a little bit more here. So feel free to grab your block if you have one. Place it in front of you. So this is another nice way to stretch hips and just stretch your spine and also just kind of relax, kind of gently stretch and relax. So nice deep inhale and an exhale. You could place hands on either side of one knee and send your head down towards your knee. So you might feel a stretch in your opposite hip this way. Now if you wanted to here, walk your hand out toward the knee where you're looking and raise your other arm up and peek under your arm. And then head back down toward that knee, breathing into opposite hip. Take your time there. You can head to the center. Feel free to rest your hands on your block even. Or you can rest them on your mat or on the ground. Oh, here comes my cat. He just woke up. Hi, Stormy. This is Stormy. Hi, Stormy. Can you see him? He may want to go outside. I'll wait till we're done. Let's head over to the other direction. Oh, maybe he'll stretch with me. Hi. See, he's going to stretch. Look. He's... Let's see. Uh-oh, either that or he's going to tear up my yoga mat. Oh, dear. Yeah, he's tearing it up. Let's do the other side. Okay, sweetie. He's sharpening his claws on my yoga mat. Oh, boy. Now bring nose to knee here. Okay, sweetie, let's stop that. And breathe into your opposite hip. Good job. How are you? Good boy. Good boy. He didn't like that I said that. Maybe you keep going here. Walk your hand out. Arm floats up. Peek under your arm. Nice stretch. And you can head back down. Good boy. Oh, look, he just did maybe we'll call that downward dog. Or it's probably a cat stretch. Did you see that cat stretch? And then head back, nose to knee. Yeah, he really tore up my mat here. That's okay. We'll come back to the center. So again, you could even put your block the vertical way if you want to be up higher. See, I'm resting my arms on my block. You can get a nice gentle stretch here in hips and spine. You're getting more of a supported stretch. This is something you could hang out in for a while if you're using a prop like a block, and especially if you're up higher like I am, using it the vertical way. Now something else to keep in mind is you could also switch and bring your other leg in front and then stretch. So see what feels good to you. He's stretching in the other room now. Breathe here. Breathe into the edges. Let yourself relax. This is a really nice stretch that you can do, a really nice pose. You could really hang out there for a while, so see what feels good to you. Let's just do just a little bit on the ground here. Hi. Hi, Stormy. Okay, so bring your block with you or your pillows or cushions. Let's come to the top of our mat. Just bring your feet together, sit up nice and tall in your sits bones. Hold on to your shins. This is basic boat. You could also reach hands in front of you or put hands underneath your hamstrings. Make sure you're drawing your belly toward your spine. I'm just going to do basic, really mellow boat. Now to come out of this, just take your time. You want to put your hands back across your shins here. Or actually, put your hands underneath your hamstrings now. So you might feel a little bit more of a core engagement, draw belly to spine, shoulders are relaxed. Sitting up nice and tall here. Now take an inhale. On an exhale, create a C curve. Draw belly to spine. Drop chin down toward your chest and start to roll. Walk down one vertebra at a time. You can drop down onto your elbows. Let's head into butterfly on the ground here. Just bring the soles of your feet together. Now we're going to stay here. You could make this into a restorative pose if you want to put cushions or blocks underneath knees. Of course, you don't have to do any of that. Let's get comfortable here. If butterfly is not comfortable to you, you could do it in the air or just put your feet up to the sky like this. Just get comfortable. You could also just bend your knees and place your feet, line up feet with hips and pull your lower back to the mat and just lie down like this too. So whether you're doing butterfly, oh here he is, he's here. Anything at all, close your eyes. Hey sweetie. I will have to end this video soon because he likes to go out and roll around in this cat tent I have for him. Woo. Now if you're in butterfly here, or feel free to join us here in butterfly, bring the edges of your feet together. Feel free to just stay here. If you're in a restorative pose, you could end your practice right here. Maybe you're all set up, you've got blocks or cushions or something underneath. Maybe you just stay here. If you want to do just a little bit more here with me, you want to remove whatever's underneath your knees, meet us back here in butterfly on the ground. Just stack one knee on top of the other. Try to keep your upper back on the mat, looking up to the sky, or you could take a nice deep inhale and on an exhale, maybe turn and look over your shoulder.
If you need to, feel free to face toward your knees. We'll just go the other direction. So passing back through butterfly, Supta Baddha Konasana. Stack your other knee on top of your knee here. Now you could also use your block here for a little extra support. Looking up to the sky, or maybe take an inhale. On an exhale, turn and look over your shoulder. So your arm's going your same arm as knee, the same side of your body is reaching the opposite direction. And again though, if you need to, you can face toward your knees there. Let's just head back to the center. Send hands and feet up to the sky. A little inversion here. I'm flexing my feet. See what feels good to you. You could even point and flex your feet. Keep your knees soft. You want to do some hamstring stretches here. You could extend one leg out. You want to engage your core. Bring nose to knee. Hello, sweetie. We'll be done in just a second here. You can even open your leg to the side. Be conscious of where your hip socket is there. Uh-oh. He's scratching more stuff here. I'll meet you back in the center. Send both feet up to the sky. Flex feet. Maybe you extend the other leg out. Stretch your hamstring here. You could bring your nose to your knee if you want to. Engaging your core there. Then you want to lower your head back down to the ground. Maybe open leg to the side. I'm hitting the wall there. You can also bend your knee there. Head back to the center, one final stretch. And let's head into Shavasana. So extend your legs out here. Just let your feet fall open. Let your palms fall open. You could come back to butterfly too. Close your eyes here. Let all your worries just melt away. Relax into your mat and breathe. You're integrating your practice here in Shavasana, your final resting pose. Oh my gosh, he's going to bite my toes. Let's come out of Shavasana here. Wiggle toes and fingers. Deepen through your breath here. You can bend your knees here. Give yourself a hug. And take an inhale, and on an exhale, drop both knees to one side. Rest your head on your arm. Coming into a fetal pose there. And then on your own time, just walk your hands back up. And feel free to find any final stretches or poses along the way. Like for instance, I'm going to stretch here just a little bit. Anything that will help you kind of get that excess energy out. And then I'll meet you back getting comfortable. You could also stay where you were in Shavasana. Otherwise, just get comfortable in a seated pose. You can close your eyes here. Reconnect with your breath. Send yourself some love. Practice some gratitude for your life and your body. And this moment unfolding right in front of you. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste. And feel free to keep practicing. Sometimes when I do mellow yoga, then I start to feel better, and then I want to do more. I have to go take care of my cat, so take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.